Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. This is the week 5 predictions. We had a brilliant week the past weekend. We had a lot of predictions, very close. We got the full house on the predictions actually. So we're moving into the final week of games, and this is massive games. This is pool deciders. So without any further ado, we're not going to waste any time. Let's get into it. Starting off with the first game, and that is New Zealand versus Uruguay. Now, of course, New Zealand has already announced the team, taking no prisoners whatsoever. And I'm looking at the betting odds as well, people. Yeah, New Zealand to thrash Uruguay. I think they'll take some of that momentum against Italy. Don't go and smash Italy and then struggle against Uruguay. They haven't chosen their second to third team like France did against Uruguay. I think Uruguay had their good performances, and now it's time for them to get battered, respectfully, of course. So I'm going with New Zealand to win this game by, I don't think it's going to be another 96. I think Uruguay's defense is pretty decent, so I'll go with, not 96, but I'll go with 65 points victory for New Zealand. I see Uruguay maybe getting 10 points, New Zealand getting 75, because it's a true strength team from New Zealand. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Leicester Fainga'anuku on the wing again. The guy's been absolutely brilliant every time he plays. It's just too bad he has to compete against Mark Talia and Will Jordan. Of course, Will Jordan's still playing, and then you got Damian McKenzie on fullback. I'm interested to see what they're going to do when the subs come on, because Caleb Clark is also on the bench. Thinking they might bring on Caleb Clark onto the wing, move Will Jordan to fullback, and then Damian McKenzie to fly off. But then Bowden Barrett's also on the bench, so I'm not too sure what they're going to do, but I've got it overall New Zealand to win this game by 65 points. Might be a bit of a tall order, but who cares. France versus Italy, I'm not too sure. I don't think the squads have been announced for this one. Most of the squads will probably come out today and tomorrow. But I've got France to take this one over Italy. I know Italy got battered against New Zealand, but I think they'll bounce back a bit. I don't think they'll get smashed by 90 points again. Of course, France is absolutely brilliant. No Dupont, though. I'm going with a closer game. I'll go with France to win by 28 points. Something that might be too low. I just think Italy will come out to play. They'll have some fighting spirit, if you understand. I think they know they had a very disappointing game when it mattered, so maybe just leave the World Cup with some sort of respect and give France a push if they could. Yeah, so I'm going with France by 28 points. Might be a bit low, to be honest, but who cares? We're moving on. Wales versus Georgia. I've said all World Cup that I feel there's a big upset on the cards, and a lot of people could have thought it's the Georgia versus Wales game. And including myself, I actually thought Georgia might pull one over Wales, because Georgia beat Wales the previous time they played. But Wales have made me eat my words. They've been absolutely brilliant from the start, starting the World Cup off with a win over Fiji. That was an absolutely brilliant game. Then had an iffy game with their third team against Portugal, still won that game. And then they absolutely destroyed Australia. So I think Wales is going to win this one. I don't think it's going to be a spanking. I've got Wales by 16 points. I think Georgia isn't a bad team, to be honest. They can keep a game close. They have good defense, some good attackers. Yeah, I just think Wales have already qualified. They might play a second string team, to be honest. So I'm going with Wales to win this game by 16 points over Georgia. Have a bounce back. They know they've already lost against Georgia. They won't necessarily go and underestimate their opponents. So Wales will have to want to get the victory to top the group firstly, and then to get one back over Georgia. Moving on, you've got England versus Samoa. Samoa will be so disappointed with their performance against Japan. I'm going with the England victory. Samoa has been decent. They've they've been playing very good rugby in parts of the game, and then other times it's just been so lackluster, not what you expected. Of course, could have beaten Argentina, but then Japan beat them, but they came back, taking maybe that momentum that they had against Japan, coming back in that last 10 minutes into that England game, try and cause an upset if they can, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think England wants to go out, secure the victory, secure the top place. So I've got England to win this one, but not with too many. I've got England by 8 points. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tighter game. Samoa's no runaway victory. I just see them physically being up for the English game. So I've got England by 8 points. George Ford to have a good game. I don't know, with Farrell back, how are they going to do the back line? Is it going to be Ford in the 10 and Farrell in the 12 again? Is Ollie Lawrence? I'm not too sure. I'm not the most familiar on the England side, but they look just so much better without Farrell. Now, Farrell is a good player, but I think if Farrell plays, he has to play 10, not 12. Just my opinion, though. Anyway, moving on. You've got Ireland versus Scotland. Of course, this is the decider for my team, the Box, as well. So, of course, there's the stat or this four-way street of how everything could end up, how the teams who could play top, who could play second, who could play third. It's still up for grabs. But yeah, I don't look too much into that stuff. I just think Ireland's going to win this game. They wouldn't want to play with their foot against Scotland. They want to top the group, end with some good momentum. To have a win over Scotland in your final game is a good result. It gives you some momentum into that quarterfinal. Against most probably New Zealand in the quarterfinals. Now on Scotland's side, they'll come out with everything. They know they have to absolutely smash Ireland. They have to get the bonus point as well, as far as I know. They don't actually need the bonus point. They just need to beat Ireland and get above their points difference, because then South Africa tops the group, and the head-to-head makes that Scotland pips Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, anyway, I've got Ireland to win this game. I think it'll be a close first half, and then Ireland will pull away in the second half. So I've got Ireland with 14 points. I think that will be a fair result. Ireland with 14 points, just if you take into consideration that Scotland will come out with everything that they've got. Moving on, Japan versus Argentina. Now, most people will despise me for this, or think I'm deluded. Looking at the betting odds, this is 7.6 underdog Japan versus Argentina. If you throw $100 on, you get $112 back. I'm going with Japan to win this game. I think there's a big upset. We haven't really had these big upsets in the World Cup this far. And I think Japan, they just know how to do it in the World Cup. They were very impressive until that last 10 minutes against Samoa. Argentina hasn't been firing at all. Scrapey win against Samoa. Didn't perform too well against, or performed horribly against England. Of course, they beat Chile quite comfortably. But you can't think about it too much if you play Chile. So I'm going with Japan to win this game. But I think it's a tight affair. Of course, this is the decider who goes through in the group. I love Argentina, I love Japan, but I want to see the upset. I think it's great for rugby when we see upsets like this, when the second tier teams... Is Japan a second tier team? Might be, might not be, might be the lower first tier. But I think it's great for rugby when you see upsets like this. You know Japan loves the upset. They pulled the upset over South Africa in 2015, pulled the upset over Ireland in 2019. And I think they're going to pull the upset over Argentina this time. So Japan by 4 points. That is my official prediction on that one. Feisty one. I like it. I like calling the upset. Hopefully we get it right. Otherwise we just look like an absolute idiot. Moving on, we got Tonga versus Romania, the second to final game. Yeah, Tonga's winning this one. Romania, I've said it from the start, they're getting the wooden spoon. They're getting a minus 300 points difference. So I have to say, Tonga with 60 points. I think Tonga showed some something they could bring in the near future to the World Cup against South Africa. They brought the physicality, they brought some flary running. They had that back line moving. They were much better than they were against Scotland and Ireland. I was actually impressed with Tonga for large parts. I think they deserved the lead in the first 20 minutes. I have to give respect to Tonga. I truly appreciate what they've done. So yeah, I'm going with the spanking. I'm going with Tonga to win by 60 points against Romania. Hopefully push it a bit more to get that minus 300. This is no disrespect to Romania. I just want to see records be broken. Yeah, so Tonga by 60. Moving on, final game of the World Cup. We got our final game of the group stages of this World Cup. We got Fiji versus Portugal. Yeah, Fiji is going to win this game. I mean, Portugal at certain points show some fight against teams. But Fiji is just too strong. The physicality will just run them over. So I've got Fiji to win this game by at least, I want to say 25 points, but Fiji weren't the best against Georgia. But I think they'll come out firing. Got Fiji to win this game by 25 points against Portugal. Of course, Portugal will want to round their World Cup off on a high. Don't think it's going to happen. Not against a Fiji team of this nature. Not when it comes to physicality. So, yeah, Fiji by 25 points for me. Let me know what you thought about it. See you next time. Thank you.